Triggers in Storyline are where the magic happens. I like to say that Storyline is just fancy PowerPoint, but when you master triggers, the possibilities are endless. You can make some very complex courses and even games in Storyline once you figure out how to use triggers and let your imagination run wild. Check it out. I'll show you how to use triggers in just 5 minutes. I'm Lindsay, and I cover instructional design, e-learning development, and all things online teaching and learning. So the default in Storyline when you create a slide is that it already has triggers attached to it. Those are the player triggers. Every new slide automatically has a next and a previous button. You'll see these labeled here in the triggers pane as player triggers. I want to create a trigger that changes how my friend Samantha here is feeling. So I've already got the character on screen. You don't have to do anything with her states. She only has the normal state activated. And I've got my button I built out here. This is actually a custom button. It was originally just a rectangle that I decided I wanted to create my own custom button with, and I've already got the states built out for that. Now, it really helps when you create triggers if you name your items in the timeline. It'll just make your life much easier when it comes to creating the trigger. So I went ahead and named this character Samantha, and that is a change from her original name of character 1. This was originally called rectangle. I changed that to button. Okay, that's going to be very important. So when you're ready to create your trigger, select the object that you want to trigger the trigger. Okay, and we're starting basic here with a button. There's all sorts of events or other items that can initiate triggers. Right now we're going to keep it simple with just a button. You'll go to the triggers pane, select create a new trigger. It's just that button there. What we want to do is change state of Samantha when the user clicks button. So you can choose here what you want her to be feeling. These are actually built-in states for the characters, which are really nice. And it's going to happen when the user clicks button. Okay, so select OK there. And then I'm going to go ahead and label this button as normal. So when this shape is selected, you can see the trigger associated with it. Set state of Samantha to normal when user clicks button. Okay, so I can actually further change this if I want to. Normal button. Now let's go ahead and copy and paste this button. I'm going to show you something really neat. All right, so when you copy and paste a button that's already built out with states and a triggers, not only do the states stay attached to it, has identical states, but it also duplicates the trigger as well. Huge time saver, because now I can just click on normal and change her to happy. And I'm going to go ahead and label this button accordingly. I'm going to make one more button here. I did Control D to duplicate. This one I'm going to change to confused. Okay, takes a moment there to update. Let's go ahead and change the button label. And then I'm going to go ahead and do some housekeeping in the timeline as well, because it really helps keep things super clear. The more triggers you have, the more you want to stay super tidy. All right, let's go ahead and preview and see what happens. So Samantha's state by default is normal. When we click on happy, she changes to happy. We click on confused, she changes to confused. We can always set her back to normal. That's it. That's triggers in a nutshell. When you look at the trigger menu here, you can see all of the actions that can trigger the trigger. I'm so sorry for my language. It can be show layer, hide layer. Oh, I'm sorry. These are the actions the trigger causes here. Restart course, exit course, adjust a variable. You can choose whatever object you want it to be associated with. You can choose the state. So always build out your states first. If you do have states you need to build out. And the initiating event is here when the user clicks, when the state changes. So you can have states dependent on other states or triggers dependent on states. You can have timeline events or even drag and drop events if you want to build out your own drag and drops. Furthermore, you can add conditions. This is where things get really tricky. You can have things depend on each other. you can have variables need to match a certain amount. We'll get into variables in the next video, but let's stop there for now. What do you think? Will you be using triggers anytime soon?